I'm Stefan from Stefan Explains, and today we're going to talk about a topic that is apparently pretty heated. Don't believe me? Well, look at my comments. We're going to be talking about salt. In this episode, we're going to be talking about three things: the types of salt, how, when, why to salt, and we'll finish up by telling you how to fix oversalting. So grab a seat, silence your phones, because class is now in session. Salt can be broken down into 4 categories. Table salt, which is good for things like pasta water. Himalayan salt, which I like to use as a finishing salt. Kosher salt, which is your all-purpose general salt for both baking and cooking. And sea salt, which I like to use as a finishing salt. That being said, there are 3 types of sea salt: fine, coarse, and flaky, which we'll go over in a second. All right, I have our types of salts here, and I'll start with probably the most famous type of salt, table salt. Table salt usually comes with iodide, which is a necessary nutrient. However, these days we don't really need it, but that was what it was initially kind of created for. Table salt is good for salting pasta water, salting French fries. It's just kind of your generic salt. It's the stuff you see in the white salt packets, things like that. Our next salt is Himalayan salt. In my personal opinion, Himalayan salt at one point was very overhyped. It was a Himalayan salt, pink salt on this and that. It brings energy. Let's go take a sauna with it, or it's in saunas and things like that. So, I'm not gonna yuck anyone's yum, but personally speaking, to me, I think Himalayan salt is just kind of whatever. It's a little overpriced, but it does, look really nice. It has that pink hue. So I like to use it as a finishing salt. The type of Himalayan salt we have here is coarse, but normally it comes in a salt grinder, so it will typically come out fine. The next salt is the golden standard. All chefs love kosher salt, specifically diamond crystal. This salt is great because it's more forgiving. It's, in a sense, less salty than table salt. 1 tablespoon of table salt and 1 tablespoon of kosher. And kosher salt is going to be less salty, which means you're going to have less of a chance of oversalting your dish, which is why chefs love it. It's also easily dissolvable, making it great for both baking and cooking. That being said, table salt is also easily dissolvable as well. However, the iodide in table salt will give you kind of that metallic taste, which personally I don't like. Our last category of salt is sea salt, and it usually comes in 3 categories: fine, coarse, and flaky. Typically speaking, sea salt will generally be used as a finishing salt, which is exactly what it sounds like. Instead of being used during cooking, it's used after cooking. Why would you want to do that? Well, as you can see here, there's a lot of different textures, and each one of these brands represents a different body of water, which has different minerals, which will in turn create different tastes when used with food. My personal favorite is Malden Flaky Sea Salt. It comes in this beautiful diamond-shaped crystal. However, I recommend you to try these out yourself to see which one you like best. And speaking of favorite salts, it's kind of weird. People treat salt brands like sports teams. Everyone has their favorite salt and they're super loyal to it. A lot of people love Celtic salt. A lot of people love Malden. Chefs love Diamond Crystal. Morton is like the brain name when it comes to table salt. This is iconic. So, pick a salt, try it out. You're bound to have a favorite. And this is pretty much what you're gonna see at the supermarket. So the best way to think about salt is in 2 ways: cooking salt and finishing salt, which is also fancy salt. It's best to have both in your kitchen because you want something to cook with and you want something to finish with. When you put Malden salt on top of a steak, it is absolutely delicious, so I recommend trying it yourself. All right, now that you've learned the different types of salt, let's go over how, when, and why to salt. The main goal of salt is to enhance flavor that's already there. Ergo, it makes things taste better. For example, I like pre-salting steak before cooking. It's gonna draw some of that moisture in the steak, concentrating that flavor even more, so that steak's gonna taste extra delicious. I also like to salt chicken breast before cooking, and I like to pre-salt chicken breast to tenderize the meat so it isn't as chewy and tough when you eat it. And now I'm gonna show you how to salt. I have my salt cellar right here, and I think the best way to salt is by hand. And I like doing it from high and above. As you can see here, I'm gonna salt really low to whatever I'm salting. And as you can see, it's a little uneven. It takes a lot of takes to just kind of get it all, to get that surface area covered with salt. But if I grab a nice big pinch and I just start way up high and I just sprinkle it down, it's gonna evenly cover the entire surface area of whatever I'm cooking. As you can see, This is way more even, way more spread out, and it only took me 1 take. This side, it's patchy. It took 2 to 3 takes. So it's very obvious that salting by hand, overhead, or from high above is the best way to do it. You can also apply this technique to any powdered seasoning. And a couple more notes for salting. You should always salt at every step while cooking. If you're reducing, only salt at the end. And you can also add salt a couple other ways via water. You could do a salt brine in a Campbell like this, or you could add it in a marinade, usually done in a Ziploc bag. All right, let's talk about when to salt. With vegetables, you want to salt right when you're cooking. They're tender, they're delicate, and pre-salting it is gonna enhance that mushiness even more, so you kind of just want to avoid that. With proteins like meat, anywhere from 15 minutes to 24 hours is great. We dry age beef, we let it sit for a long time, so don't be afraid to let it over salt. The longer it sits, the longer it's salted, the more flavor it's gonna have. But with poultry, you don't really want to oversalt it, so aim for anywhere between 15 minutes to overnight. Any longer than that, the proteins are going to break down, which is going to make your chicken mushy and chewy, which is really what you don't want. With fish, anywhere between 15 minutes to an hour is also good. Just like veggies, fish is very delicate, so any longer than that, it's going to break the proteins down, which is what you don't want. And with finishing salt, you want to salt it right when you eat, as the name suggests. Personally speaking, I like doing it, like I said before, overhead, even with flaky salt. But if you're feeling fancy, you can do, I'm really bad at one of these. Geez, that's actually harder than it looks. All right, well, I know it's a lot of information, but if you're interested, my cookbook's coming out in November. All right, now let's talk about oversalting. There will come a time where your hand is a little too heavy on the salt, and I have just the fix for you. Depending on what you're cooking, any of these are gonna be your oversalting solution. If you're making tacos and maybe you put too much salt in the meat, acids like citrus are going to be great. If you made a salad dressing with too much salt in it, add more vinegar. It's going to cancel out, balance out those flavors right there. If you're making pasta or soups, you can add some more starch like potatoes. The potato or the starch is going to soak up that salty flavor, balancing out the flavors even more. If you're making another kind of cream pasta, butter and cream, it's going to dilute that salt and even out the flavors as well. And then if you're making a soup, water always works too, but be careful with water because water will also kind of change the consistency of whatever you're cooking. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up salt. If you have any questions or if you've ever oversalted anything, let us know in the comments. I will let you know how to fix it. And also, don't be afraid of salt. A lot of people are scared to oversalt things, but you never know. Sometimes just an extra pinch can change your dish from something mediocre to something amazing. Now you know. Thanks for watching.